Hello, I'm Ina Starchikova. I'm an executive director of the foundation called Moloda Hromada, the Young Community, and I'm happy to open this conference. Our foundation is a coordinator of the coalition for managing Ukrainian communities. The public budget 2.0 showed a lot of use for local communities. You can take a look at the previous conferences recording. Now we'll talk about the participation of youth in this process, of how to empower them thanks to public budget 2.0. This is happening in various communities thanks to different donors. For example, the European Youth Fund in Hartzisk community, thanks to the Global Foundation of Communities. So the program is as follows. After the opening keynote, there will be the first presentation. Then the teams of the two communities, Rudkivska and Hartziska, will present together with me and present their results, the results of their communities. Next section is questions and answers. Participants can also send their questions into the Zoom chat, and we will handle them in the Q&A session. Now, Ms. Mara Georgescu, if I'm saying this right, representative of the European Youth Fund of the Council of Europe, please, the floor is yours to open this conference. Please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us to join this conference. Your project is one of the projects that was supported by us in the framework of a special call in support of young people from Ukraine of the European Youth Foundation. I will just say a few words what the foundation is about, and then also why we consider the project very interesting and important. The European Youth Foundation has existed for over 50 years. It is part of the Council of Europe. And for more than 1.5 years, it has a special call in support of young people from Ukraine. Ukraine is a member state of the Council of Europe, and the Council of Europe is an international organization that fights for human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. And as such, of course, when the war started, it took some time to see what we can do, but finally, since October 2022, we started this special call in support of young people from Ukraine. The foundation is an instrument through which we try to support organizations that work with young people, that respect their ideas, that encourage them, and so on. So your project was also interesting for that. I'm curious to learn what the young people say first and foremost, because if the project benefited them, I think that's the key to success, first of all. We will continue this special call, and we hope to see other projects. So this call continues. The projects can be supported and applied for at any time. So we have certain measures in place for this. I do not have very specific information about how the project went, so I'm curious to learn about that. What is important for us is really that this kind of projects lead to some kind of a space for young people where they feel important, valued, where their voice is heard by other people. So I hope this was the case in your project, and I hope this will be the case also in future projects. For us as a donor, we are a small foundation. Let's say we are not a huge donor, but for us, this idea of the participatory budgeting was quite interesting. It's very rare, actually, that we get this kind of project. So I think also the young people that were involved and are here, you should know this. You've done something quite interesting, maybe something quite unique. So, and you should be proud of having joined this project, I think. And I think with this, I will stop. Thank you for the invitation. I will be with you for another 20-30 minutes because I'm monitoring another project in the north of Germany. So I will need then to go back to them. But thank you so much for this opportunity and for your hard work in the project, especially.
Okay, meanwhile, a little announcement. Do you all, dear participants, know where the toggle for interpretation is? Mm, People are joining in and choosing the interpretation channel. You just use the channel that you would like to listen to. If the speaker is speaking English, you can listen to the original English or to the Ukrainian channel. Or like if you're free with both languages, great, even better. Thank you, Ms. Mara. Thank you very much for your kind words. And now the floor goes to Ms. Wendy Richardson, our one of our permanent partners, a representative of the Global Foundation of Support of Community Funds. Ms. Wendy, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Inna. I mean, as Inna just said, my organization, the Global Fund for Community Foundations, we've been supporting work around the citizen token system and all its different elements since 2016. And I know that parts of it can seem a little bit technical at times, but what we are always struck by when we speak with Vadim and Inna and other colleagues is that the fundamental principle behind all of this work is actually very simple. It's about shifting decision-making power to normal people, like those of us on this call, and encouraging us all to be active participants in our community life, and to really care about what's going on around us, and to get involved in that. So actually, we think that because that foundational element, just the basic idea behind it is so strong and appealing, this model has really caught the attention of a lot of others in the global Shift the Power movement. And in case you're wondering what the Shift the Power movement is, I am going to drop a link in the chat if I can talk and type at the same time. Because I'm old, I'm not like you young people on this call that can do multiple things at once, you see. But that's a little bit more about the Shift the Power movement and what it believes in. And we have a manifesto for change, which is also available in Ukrainian at that link. So have a look, and Inna knows all of this well, and Vadim as well. And so a lot of others in the movement have been really interested in this model, because that's just what it does. It shifts power. And while at the Global Fund, we've been supporting this work for more than 8 years. It's really important to note that we think that the work done over the last 2 years is particularly commendable, that there's been this continuous experimentation and innovation, even despite the most difficult of backdrops, the war. But perhaps during a period like this, a very difficult period, this kind of work becomes even more important. And so I'm sure that, you know, the examples we'll hear today of young people really getting involved, it becomes really important at a time when the future might seem a little bit bleak, when it might be easy to lose hope or feel negative. So, you know, the citizen token system and work like this, it's a drop of positivity. It's a source of hope. And as one of our colleagues in Haiti always reminds us, hope is a strategy. So I am going to wrap up now because I'm a little bit sick and I'm about to start coughing, but I wanted to wish you all a very good conference, and I'm looking forward to listening to what you all have to say, especially you young people who make me feel old on this call. So have a really good discussion.
Thank you, Wendy, for this heartfelt opening speech. Thank you very much again. And now I'm giving the floor for the opening word the representative of our also, so look, an old partner of the Rudkivska community, the secretary of the Rudkivska City Council, Ms. Svetlana Vinnitska, with a couple of intro words as well. Thank you. I'm happy to see the participants of the conference. So now, our community includes the town of Rudke, and also 3 villages. The population is about 25,000 people, and children and young people under 35 are about 40% of that. We have a lot of elders, small regions, and we're focused on agriculture and the prospective successful aspects of our economy are tourism, and of course we are aimed at helping at volunteership, at helping the military men, the IDPs, and our projects welcome not only participation from adults, from young people, from the youth, from teenagers. Smart contracts are the platform for that. I've been working with a foundation called the Young Community, and thanks to the tokens, through their tokens, we have integrated the participatory budget 2.0 for 2024. Being child-centric, youth-centric is an important touch base for the development of our community. In order for the children, the teens, especially in the village, do not feel limited in their opportunities compared to the young people in the city areas, in the urban areas. We have tackled a problem of low activity of young people in community activities, not sufficient inclusion of community activities. So I hope, thanks to the support of the European Youth Fund, this project solves at least part of the problems that we have in order to lift the role of the youth and of the community. We're very interested to see how this project develops and its results. Thank you very much. Thank you, Svetlana. Now I'm given the floor for an intro to Ms. Oksana Stoyanova, Deputy Head of Artsishka Community, Vinnytska Oblast. Hello, our community is quite young. It was created in 2020, and it includes 12 settlements and 31,800 people. The young people are 16% of that. We are very ethnically diverse. We have a very unique, authentic culture connected to the natives. It is in Odessa, in Bessarabia, in the Odessa region. We are very well geographically situated, close to the EU countries. There are seaports, a great economic basis, but our key potential is, of course, our people, and of course, our young people who are joining all of the processes very proactively. They care, and especially with the beginning of the full-scale war, we've seen an upsurge in that. Of course, social support and social security is a present problem, as well as supporting the IDPs. We had to organize the education, healthcare, culture, community, communal utilities, securing the utilities during the bombings and the shellings, and we needed to involve the citizens into all processes in the community, in the Hromada. It's very important. Any project that helps us do so is important to us. We have a positive experience, meaning the token system. We have recently joined that. And thanks to a participatory budget, the community received almost 28 times more resources and support than before. Another problem we had to tackle is low awareness. So during our weekly meetings, we launched solutions for the young, supported by the Global Foundation for Youth Communities. And now we're in the final part of that awareness raising project. We'll share the experience. This is a conscious choice of our communities to develop participatory local self-government. So we hope for further cooperation with the young communities, with the Young Communities Foundations. We are happy to learn from your experience and also to involve our young people into all this. Thank you, Ms. Oksana. Now, the presentation by Vadim Herhienko, developer of token system and key expert of our project. Mr. Vadim, floor is to you. Hello, everyone. Happy to see you. As I heard from Ms. Mara, if you have to go to another meeting, let me remind you that there will be a recording of this conference, so you won't miss anything. The main heroes of this project is the young people, and you'll be happy to see. I promise you'll love hearing them present. We need to explain the context. A couple of words about the token system, and thanks to which the young people were involved. They were testing the system. They were facing the challenges. They will talk about that personally. I just have an intro presentation, what this system is about. And of course, it's important to mention the Young Communities, Jan Hormadas Foundation, because the entire work that what the EYF does, it's a very consecutive, logical activity that is based on previous experience and expertise. In 2007, the foundation was awarded by the Council of Europe for best results from among 47 European states. It was nominated for participation and good governance. And as far as I know, neither before nor later, nobody has seen such a type of award in this sphere. It was very inspiring. It was 2007, I remind you. It was amazing to feel that we are equal partners with our European counterparts, and we understood we could be useful to other European states as well. So it inspired us to work with innovations, and starting from 2015, our foundation started working with the European Youth Fund, and there are lots of projects that were implemented with the support of EYF and aimed at various aspects of activity related to young people. And a couple of words about the global aspect. Since 2016, since the Global Summit in South Africa, and until recently, the Global Summit in Colombia, last year, the foundation joined the Shift the Power initiative. Wendy mentioned it, and very succinctly described what it is about shifting the power to representatives of the communities. so the grassroots initiatives. So the question was for us, how do we shift the power in favor of the people? Now, the challenges in the Ukrainian context. Recently, obviously, it was the impoverishment of local communities caused by the war. So we had to become more creative with our resources. And another serious challenge is the increasing conflict proneness in the society, which might be an obstacle to rebuild in Ukraine. So let's talk about the system. So the key notions in simple words. Tokens, governance tokens, is a term taken from the crypto market, and it is being used there quite well. Now, we're talking about the model, how this idea can be used within the key direction of our activity in order to react to these challenges in the Ukrainian context as well as the global European that I already mentioned. So let's use an example of quite a popular mechanism that we had before the full-scale invasion. We used to have a public budget or participatory budget, 1.0, so-called. Let's put it into very simple words. Imagine a mom asking the child, what present do you want? What gift would you like to receive? Then she buys it, and the child receives that, what they asked for. That's a very simplified way of putting it, of describing the participatory budget. The local budget is used to fund local communities projects, and the citizens of those communities vote for certain projects. And in fact, it's a method of complete 100% shifting the decision making to the community. Now we are looking for more efficient ways of using the resources. And the main idea of Participatory Budget 2.0 is that there is a condition of taking that decision. So in this case, in our analogy, so mom says, if you get a good grade, like a B in mathematics this year, you have 1,000 hryvnias to fund to buy your own present, to buy your own gift. So it's a smart contract, a condition to decision making. So this smart contract was, spoiler alert, was a relatively new and accessible instrument of forming the local, creating the local policies for local communities. And this token mechanism, this CTS mechanism of redistributing decisive decision-making power means that you have 100% of power to for decision-making, for funding. For example, 50,000 hryvnia. You split the decision-making power into several different tokens of decision-making. And the smallest token is 50 hryvnias, like shares. So 1,000 tokens would be 100% of decision-making power. And this is how we we can use it at our will, at our discretion, to solve issues that are relevant for the local community currently for this target audience. Now, as soon as these 1,000 tokens are received by the citizens, then 100% of decision-making power belongs to them, is transferred to them and belongs to them. Somebody received more tokens, somebody received less, and they will have a different decision-making power, and they will choose a project they would finance, they would fund. This is the general mechanism that exists in several models of this system. Here at this conference, we'll focus only on Participatory Budget 2.0. So what happens during the launch of smart contracts? This is the child before smart contracts. If the condition is successfully met, we have two results. First of all, the boy is now good at mathematics, right? Because he met this condition. And he also has the 1,000 hryvnia worth gift. So the knowledge the child got from the condition he met, is added value. So mother spent 1,000 hryvnias, and the general value is 2,000 hryvnias because there was a condition, the studies from the child, as theoretically. So it was interesting for us to test this idea in the real conditions. So the pilot launch of this project was in Rudkivska community and the Dubyshevska community of Lviv and Volyn regions respectively. And then we went over to the pilot scaling to see how unique these first two communities are and what is the technology of this scaling. So Artsych Hromada of the Odessa region, Mabenska Hromada of Zhytomyr region. So what do we know from the experience of Dubechnenska community and Rudkivska community? With a funding of 80,000 hryvnias, 382 people, the citizens, have generated an added value according to a smart contract that is worth 800,000 hryvnias. So it's tenfold amount, tenfold multiplication. So the smart contracts were in various spheres, safety and security contracts, helping the army, helping the IDPs, and so on. So as a result, now we can see that Participatory Budget 2.0 is much more useful than the first version.
First, we have found a way to be more effective in the use of existing funds, and we are able to ensure this cooperation of the citizens and the local government. We are able to bring together the different populations in the community. And as we could hear from community representatives, they are facing with the problem of insufficient engagement of youth in the local self-governance. Some strategy was chosen to improve the access of youth to the new opportunities through cooperation of youth and the local self-governance. And yeah, it's very important to see what exactly was happening and what are the opinions of the our participants, but you will learn from our next speakers more on this. So in case there are any questions to this intro presentation, we will have a separate Q&A section for this. Thank you. And now let me share the screen with the next presentation. And yeah, let's speak about the practical implementation. Let's speak about the things that were happening. It all started from a youth training in a wonderful place of Slavska, Carpathians. The event was led by Anastasia Netrebitska, informal education trainer. Let's hear from Nastya. Yeah, I hope you can hear and see me. Well, I do not see you, but surely I hear you. Yeah, hello. And yeah, I'm pleased to be with you here at this online event. And first and foremost, I'd like to share that this program was designed as a game. So the young people went through the different stages of token implementation, that you were doing certain tasks, and they got some tokens for this. So this training was a discovery for me. I understood that the young people are not afraid of doing something useful for their community, that they are ready to grow and develop. And this tool did a lot for this. It was a mega interesting interactive tool. It was indeed exciting. I saw this happening for these 3 days. The participants were able to come up with the main topics that could be of interest for people of their age. It's difficult to find some approaches that would be of interest for everyone. And I'm grateful for this proactivity on their part. Thank you so much, Anastasia. This was indeed a pilot for us as a rule. Something happens for the first time and it is new for us. It is great that we could gamify this learning process for them. So that process of training, it was over, and once the participants came back, they started the stage of testing. They had a chance to check the hypothesis for their communication with the peers that they have developed in the training, and they had the chance to practice what they learned, because practice is always a proof of any theory. So let's hear from Elena how exactly this was happening. Every team has developed one test smart contract. You can see the list on the screen. There was a landing page that displayed all of them. And one of the smart contracts, the tokens were paid for organizing events. In another case, tokens were provided for organizing the charity event, and also there was one more project. It was not as easy as it may seem. Our peers have perceived this in their own way, and well, quite often our youth were not engaged in decision making. Yeah, in the majority of cases, they did not have much experience, much understanding of what was going on. There were lots of questions. It often happened that the younger students had a more serious attitude to this. than the older ones. And quite often we can see many of them keeping those tokens that they used for voting. We had lots of positive emotions along the way. In total, the youngsters got tokens for the total amount of 24,000 hryvnias. Yes. So this was the test stage. And yeah, let's hear from the Artsistka community. Yeah, the testing was happening in the time of the spring cleaning. So the three projects were the educational park, the handmade children's playground, and there were some arrangements on the banks of the Kohilnik River. Again, there were difficulties with the perception of this new term token, but overall this was a successful tool that encouraged people to work together, especially in the project number 2. This was a handmade children's playground. The playground was there, but it needed to be upgraded, and yeah, the response from the residents was huge. So then there was test voting in the groups. Yeah, the youth got their tokens, and they had the full power over spending this 24,000 hryvnias. So some projects were developed and some voting was going on. The projects had to be developed first, and therefore we had some project design training. We have developed 8 educational projects. We have all these projects in the screen. There were projects in the local villages, making some arrangements for the sports activities, creating conditions for children's leisure time in the community center, or also creating a sports ground, creating a memory area, and ecological education project on the paper, and also a recreation zone at school to spend the school breaks. Okay, so there was this test voting in the Artsistka community. Yes. In our community, we followed the proposed algorithm. 4 projects were developed and available for voting with the tokens. There was the project on green zone and the local park. The second project was called the Tree of Peace and Hope. There was the project of use table in the local park. And finally, there was a football field 2.0, upgrading an existing football field. So you can see the results of voting in Rutki, and yeah, these are the results. So we can see the results of voting, and we can see that 4 projects were supported in full. The Green Class, Ecospace, and also the Sport Drive project in Arhovichi, and the 5th project was the Alley of Heroes in the Novosilki village. So it got half the required amount, but this voting has become a trigger for a crowdfunding campaign in the community, and there was a co-financing provided by the local residents through crowdfunding. So great. These are the great results. It shows how this project encouraged the development, and they were able to get the remaining amount. So yeah, there is a strong little project there. And so what did we experience in Artsistka community? The results are the following. None of the projects got the full amount. The top leading projects are the Football Field 2.0 and the 3 of Peace and Hope. In the case of this project, the budget was reduced, and this was permitted by the project. And for the football field, some crowdfunding was launched and the remaining money was collected. Thank you. So there was some training in this forum, and then participatory budget 2.0 was launched. There was some agreement on what contributions of the young people will be included into the new smart contracts, and it was described what are these good deeds that the local community is ready to finance, and what are these good things that the young people support. That's how it was happening in Rudkivska community. Yeah, youth teams have started preparation for the smart contracts as part of participatory budget 2.0. In April, we had a hackathon. We were spending some time looking for creative ideas for our activities and events. In the beginning, we were working on one idea, and then overnight we changed it entirely. The idea came from one of our classmates. We developed it later. We developed this ideas also with representatives of the local self-government in Rudke. And let's hear how this process is going on in Artsiz. Right now, our community is in the final stage of this process. We have listed the youth proposals. Right now, we are serving the government representatives to get the approvals from everyone. Okay, so the smart contracts for participatory budget 2.0 were developed in Rudke, and as a result, the following smart contracts were developed. A smart contract meeting the hero, organizing meetings with the military to understand the importance of support for those who are fighting for our country, development of scenarios, etc., etc. And also, we had other projects such as Video Activator. This was a project to foster the development of different videos of videos depicting school life. Also, there was the charity fair, the sports event, friendly sports meeting between different teams, clear environment, participation in the collective cleaning effort. Also, some contribution for the collection of Russian-speaking literature for recycling. And yeah, so these are basically the projects. And let us hear about the prospects of a smart contract from Vadim Karnienko, our project's key expert. So let's hear of this in slightly more detail. Yeah, thank you. Can I please hear my slides? Okay. So smart contracts is a tool that was interesting from many standpoints. In the beginning, it was a challenge. How do we format it in such a way that it is suitable for civil society activists, something acceptable and digestible? Because the smart contract defines the amount of tokens that the person will get, and the different methodology that was used to allocate tokens. The idea of this evolution of this tool, it can be presented in the following way if we present it in a simplified way. First, we have to give people some motivation and motivation to do something. So we need to take care of this. In the community. Click next. And also it should motivate for addressing some global issues. So this may be the issue of lack of experience in the young people, because it's up to them to decide what issues they are addressing. And in our cartoon example, that's like this bear that was trying to borrow some honey from the bees. But this was also a threat. And there needs to be the understanding that the problem is addressed as consequence of the use of smart contract. And it depends on the format of the smart contract itself. So if you look at this format right now, it is much like the regular project, where there is a specific problem we are focusing on. There is some motivating factor, there are some actions to be taken, etc. So this idea to transform a smart contract into something that is similar to the popular participatory budget format, that's quite enticing, especially when it is fully integrated into the local policy. So the smart contracts are developed by use and local governments together. They are focused on some relevant issues in the communities, and so this is something we need to focus on, and especially, especially important thing is that we need to focus on useful projects for the community. We have emphasized that the communities have benefited hugely because of these contracts. That's because of the smart contracts contributions. This is thanks to the possibility to use the resources available in more effective ways. This way, we are using the most accessible tool for the locals as a tool for local policies. Thank you, Vadim. And next, we will have the voting for youth initiatives under participatory budget 2.0. The financing will be coming from the local budgets. And right now, let us focus on the most important element of this project. And in any participatory projects, we are also measuring the impressions of the participants. There were two focus group discussions with focus group holders and representatives of the local governments, and we made a comparison. Some interesting data can be seen here. And first thing here is the assessment of how successful was the youth engagement component. So we can see that the assessment was positive in both youth and the local government, but if we look into detail, we believe that, well, we see 41% of youth who believe that there is some room for development, but there is a much smaller percent of the local government representatives who could see any problems. And so, yeah, it shows that there is some space for ongoing dialogue. Also, we assessed to which extent it was possible to improve the life of the young people. So young people say it was 7 out of 10, but if we look in more detail, and we compare this with the opinion of the local self-governments, again, we have for the total assessment of more than 9 out of 10, and here is the distribution. Let us hear from Vadim Akhardyenko. Why do we see these kinds of results here? Thank you, Inna. I will briefly remind you that we are speaking here of the Rudkivska community, and this questionnaire is about this community because in Artsivska community, this questionnaire is still ahead. So, yeah, it will be interesting to hear from Artsiz, and it will be interesting to hear from Rudke. But answering this question, I'd say this is a manifestation of the perception of local self-governments who assess the change based on their own experience and understanding of the procedures. They see that these changes are great. They see that opportunities are growing considerably, but the assessment of youth is not about the progressive change of the procedures themselves, right? Because the young people don't have this much experience. They are assessing their own understanding. So even if legally we have the best mechanism for influence, it does not necessarily mean that the opportunities of the locals are growing unless they do use them on a regular basis and thus get a better grasp of this. That's my opinion, and hopefully we will have occasions to work on this better. Thank you so much, Vadim. Yes, using something on a regular basis, that is the foundation for success. So in this regard, the differences between 7 and 9 points out of 10, they lay a good foundation for some subsequent actions for the improvement of participatory budget to 0. And let's now assess the opinions of the youth, especially when it comes to the future cooperation between the local self-government and the youth. We can see the more optimistic data, which are quite inspiring. We can see the good example of pessimism as well, and we have to analyze it and take it into account in subsequent activity. So that's a brief description of the events that were happening. And we then have the Q&A section. Before we start with this, I'd like to express gratitude to the team of youth that has been contributing to this presentation. I'm grateful to Rutkivska community, Diana Fedina, Roman Sulin, Mariana Shoplan, Mariana Zarhovich, Alexander Vaitanovich, and Marta, and Daria Demi, and Roman Surach, Maria Katzerman, and also the team of the ArtSys community, Olena Frunze, Sofia Gocheva, and also Camila, whom I don't see among the participants right now. Yeah, unfortunately, she has left. So yeah, I'm grateful to all of you. You were great. You got ready for this, and also thank you for this huge work you did and the great impact you have made in your communities, and continue doing it every day because this work has not stopped.
Now you have an opportunity to ask your questions, please. The floor is yours if you have any questions. You can ask each other questions. You can ask our experts, Ms. Mariana, who also participated in preparing our young people, the representatives of partner communities, other communities that were very interested in finding out the results. Yes, Ms. Ludmila, I can see your hand raised. Hello, colleagues. Thank you very much. I heard a lot of interesting information. Our young partners did great. The ones who are joining our network of communities that are participating in piloting the token system project. I have heard a lot of new interesting things, also things that can be used as our experience. And when you were talking about crowdfunding, I was very interested. It was very interesting to me to hear what helped crowdfund. Events, anything else to help crowdfund, or was it just a platform? Because additional funding of the projects that do not get chosen as a result of a voting, do not get elected, it's a very painful issue in any Hromada. It's an interesting question. It would be a useful experience. So my question is about crowdfunding. How did you finalize the crowdfunding for your projects? All right, maybe it's the ArtSys Hromada or Hromada from Novoselki. I know that Hromada from Inside Out, but those participants could not join us. But ArtSys representatives can tell you about the crowdfunding, the football field project, for instance. Can you share it, please? Yes, I can answer this question. Let's take an example of this football field that we were crowdfunding for. People came together, people who wanted that real bad. They got their money together to renovate this football field. That's the first thing. So it's just local resources, and there were competitions when we held those competitions, art competitions, right? Yes, and the money we raised during those competitions we used. All right, Novosilki. Let me say a couple of words about that. It was an interesting thing that worked well. Novosilki had two projects, lounge zone. They wanted to create an alley to commemorate the fallen heroes of the village. So the token owners supported 100% the alley, this Alley of Heroes project. So this idea was created at first. They supported it. They saw they didn't have enough money, but the citizens joined that with such ardor that this crowdfunding campaign was to raise this amount of money. I don't know, maybe Ms. Svetlana can mention. This idea brought people together. Everyone cared. And it was by grapevine. The entrepreneurs helped the individual citizens. And the project continues to develop, as far as I understand, because there are additional money, additional ideas of what can be done apart from what is already part of the project. And as far as I understand, the project will be funded and and fully implemented, because the Novosilki village is very interesting. The villagers who died as heroes is a painful. And another thing to the topic of this conference, I would like to say that thank God we are working with the Jan Romadas Foundation with Mr. Vadim and Ms. Inna, because these new ideas, they are helping us find out things about ourselves. This hackathon that happened when our young people were here in the city council, and the entire project when we were that we saw in Slavsky helped us understand our young people better. Even living next to them all their lives, but seeing them as serious, reliable, talented, perspective-filled young people, that offered us a new vision, a new understanding. And during the hackathon, during the implementation of the project, we saw how their ideas were interesting, serious, and how ready they are to not only launch these projects, but implement them into their lives, our lives. So we're very grateful to the organization for this wonderful experience. Thank you, Ms. Svetlana. Your words are especially valuable. Svetlana Ferenc is the deputy head of Rudkivska City Council, Town Council, and a lot of things that are happening in the Hromada are happening thanks to you. I think young people also enjoyed hearing the acknowledgement of their achievements. Thank you, dear colleagues. I have heard an entire algorithm that you have built to make crowdfunding happen. It yes, it's great to see that there are other activities to implement projects and to build the system. And another thing, sorry for not presenting myself. I am a representative of Dubichnanska Amalgamated Community. I represent the organization called the Center for Social Cooperation of Hromadas that has the honor to work with the Jan Foundation, Jan Hromada Foundation, working with a token system and creating new experience, new activities, new faces. That's very inspiring, and it shows how livable, how lively this program is, how useful it is for Hromadas and for young people, as how we understand in our Hromada. So we are very grateful to Jan Hromada Foundation to adding us to this system. And you, dear colleagues, thank you for your activity and your ideas that are inspiring us. And we are grateful to the European Foundation that is funding this project, because nothing would happen without them. We are very grateful to the European Foundation. May I? As Mariana, our Hromada, our community also joined. Everyone who sees the recording will see how valuable this meeting was. So we loved to work in this project, and I love spending time with young people. And for example, as I said during the hackathon, it's nice to see how the young people develop, because they develop differently in different regions of our country. I would like to see more projects like that. I know that the young people of Rudkivska Hromada is very active, but also sometimes coy. They're very respectful towards their parents. They're very well behaved. But in this project, I would like to have to see more of their activity. Maybe their initiatives were like dampened by certain conditions or something, but we shouldn't do that. We should encourage the development of the young people. When I was teaching at the university, I remember we were invited for young people of 10, 11 years, and they were able to present in the English language, and they presented their social business projects, and they did it with flying colors. Even with 5 or 6 years, children are ready to give you a business plan on any given day. We have very conscious, aware, talented young people. So I'm very grateful to the donors, to the foundation, for supporting for these initiatives and developing our Hromadas. And I would like my Hromada also to participate, because I am working here, but we would like more support. Of course, there's a representative of territorial Hromada of Zhytomyr region. She was our expert facilitator concerning the number of the projects. Hopefully, young people heard that. this wonderful piece of news that we also have the voting process has still not ended. It is still registered at the page, at the web page. So at the hackathon, you will be able to see probably more. They might present new ideas, so don't worry, they will have more. So it's wonderful that this work is still ongoing, the one from the hackathon. Wendy Richardson, any comments from you, please? Wendy, any comments from you, please? Maybe Ms. Wendy has any questions to the communities, to the Hromadas, to the participants? Okay, maybe there's something with the health. Is there, if there are any health issues? Well, meanwhile, we're still waiting for comments of Ms. Wendy. Mr. Vadim, please, do you have a question? Well, I will mostly ask very work level technical questions after the finish of the project. I will just react and say that it was very interesting for me, and I was watching the Malinska Hromada trying to pilot the second model that was aimed at supporting the entrepreneurship initiatives, economy, investment. There were certain organizational troubles, but I was under the impression that there are people there who have the political will to work in this direction as well. And of course, I was very interested in talking to those, coming back to those Hromadas, Arciska and Rutkivska Hromadas communities, to trying to move over to model number 4 that was not piloted first, meaning the youth startups. And even from the beginning of these conferences, from the young participants, I have heard thoughts about supporting business ideas of the youth. Once again, I'm saying that the activity of Jan Hromada Foundation is consecutive and multifaceted within the framework of the projects that we are implementing now with the help of the European Youth Fund and the Global Fund from the community of funds. They have clear purposes and they need to be implemented within the framework of the activity that was foreseen, which leaves us with every opportunity with our partners to look into the future from the viewpoint of challenges and wishes that exist on the local level, and finding those who have the desire from the donors to support these initiatives when the young people become economically independent and get the skills for the labor market. And all participants of today's conference, I hope, and the Jan Hromada Foundation after the end of the project will give a certain at least acknowledgement certificates or something to the speakers of at such a conference, at the web conference in English and Ukrainian as well, because it's an international thing, an international event, and representatives of our donors are in attendance. And this will be a great addition to your CV when you're applying to a university or anywhere else, or during your employment process, depending on your ambitions and your plans. But it can be quite an interesting gain for all of today's active participants. Thank you. Okay, the certificates of acknowledgement will be there, don't worry. Concerning the youth startups, and the young people of Rutkivska Hromada, they might be lucky because there is a sustainability foundation of Rutkivska Hromada already existing. Well, young people, you can react, you can apply to that micro entrepreneurship. Rutkivska Hromada, and so on. So please stand by for new announcements. There will be. Thank you, Wendy. I'm reading your comment here. No comments from me. Just enjoying listening. Well, that means that everything was clear. There are no questions. Everything was made very easy to understand and nice to listen to. Oh, another comment from me, please, about crowdfunding. The first wave of tokens, during that first wave, one organization did not do it, did not make it. So they were so annoyed. And so in spring, there was a fair, like a city fair, town fair. And the amount of money that they raised was much larger that they wanted for tokens. So during crowdfunding, we found out that such fair is much better and much and is done much better when there's this assertive, healthy anger, like, "Oh, we didn't make it to the token project, well, we'll do something else." And we still did it. And they said, and the participants said, well, we did it anyway, even without the tokens. To which I replied, well, if it hadn't been for the tokens, you hadn't, you wouldn't have done what you did anyway. So whatever is done is for the best. Progress is unstoppable, and the Dubichinska Hromada must move forward. And yeah, again, my invitations to the Dubichinska Hromada. Thank you, Ms. Mariana. And about crowdfunding, the question was about crowdfunding generally, but the answers of the participants of the projects showed how active the token system was, because if people understood everything on crowdfunding platforms and collected the funds, it means that the questions discussed were so close to their skin, were so relevant for them, and made them join the crowdfunding. So anything we say, crowdfunding or challenges, it's all about the system itself and its efficiency. So thank you. And The invitation is still standing. You're all invited to visit our Haramada. Okay, on this positive note, we can finish our conference. And generally, I can give the floor to everyone and invite everyone to Malin, Hrudki, Odessa, Artsiz, the great Bessarabia. As far as I understand, if the young people invite us from the Dubetnyanska Hromada, only then we get more chance to. It would be great to Sofia from Artsisk or someone from Rudki to hear to hear what you would like to see next, because we are finishing this we're finishing this meeting with the wishes. Let's wish each other something for their upcoming activities and events, something heartfelt from you, because you are the main characters here, dear young people. Miss Sophia, please. I would like to thank everyone for the experience we got at this conference, and for the participation to our peers. It was really interesting, and I'm grateful. Roman, please. Yes, I also would like to say my thanks to everyone for creating such a good atmosphere. Have a nice day, because it's still ongoing, and let's make it productive. Bye. So the young people are finishing this conference. They have started it and they're finishing it. So yes, have a great day. See ya. Bye.